Welcome back then, this is episode 2 of the Project BMW. Today I'm just going to sort of take the tank off, the bars off, the lower sump guard, not that there's a higher sump guard mind, but from there I'm going to drop the oil and take the filter off. And just by doing this obviously will give us a bit more of an understanding as to what the bike condition is like. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a cold day for me, so let's just get into pulling the bars, tank and sump guard off. While I remember, just before you sort of start messing about with any bike that you use on a centre stand or maintain on a centre stand, just sort of get it up on the centre stand, put a little strap on it like this. So you can see I've just tied a little strap through there, a little ratchet strap, stuck it on, you go straight through to the stand, just hooked on itself, tightened it all up, nice and tight. Just means that obviously when you're like working on the bike, moving it back and forth, it's not going to roll forward and push off the stand. It's always connected to the wheel. Alright, start with it. I'm just going to take this, hopefully take this out. Oh. Not a bad state, to be fair. Bit of rust on top, but hey, other than that, it's pretty good. Threads aren't shredded, that's the main thing. Just going to do the same for the other side. Got the screws out. One's longer than the other. That was the right hand side of the bike, this one's the left. This one has a washer on it, this one doesn't. But this one's got a lot of rust on it. So again, caught it early enough, just going to clean it up. Put some grease on there, some copper grease or something when it goes back in, just to stop any future corrosion. But to be fair, they came out easy enough and I'm happy with that. But now it's time to do the bottom bits. So for the front of the bar here, you need to take this screw out and hold on to this bolt in the back, otherwise you're not getting anything. Now in true fashion, all the screws are out from the side and the front. The other one is up behind this part of the tank, so I'm going to try and get something in there. If not, the tank's got to come off. I've got the petrol tank off. My petrol tank contains a lot less fuel than it did originally because I had a little bit of a problem with the pipes. And I thought, quick, pull it off and put it upside down quickly to stop the flow of petrol coming out the pipes. But the only thing was, when I closed the lid on the fuel tank earlier on, it wasn't quite closed properly because of the rust and shit. So, got a wet floor now and an open garage door. But the petrol tank's off and it smells really nice in here, so let's carry on removing the bars. Oh, and there they are, one side of the bars. I'm going to put the screw back in because it's the front end of the bike as well, so I'll put that in to hold it in place. And then I'll put the other screw back in there as well. And then the same on the other sides. So this is what she looks like without the bars then. It looks rather slender, to be fair. Pretty good. Like I say, you can see a lot more in there now. You can see that things are actually cleaner. There's the wishbone. There's the little front shock of the telelever. Just looks a lot better actually, and yeah, to be fair, I'm quite pleased with it. You can see the electronics. There's nothing bad going on in there, just a bit dirty really, but that's expected. 22 years old. Right, so now that the bars are off, then we're going to look onto the cylinder head. There's little plastic guards on there. We're going to take those off and put them aside and try not to lose those over the next couple of days. And obviously there wouldn't be maintenance if it wasn't something awkward like underneath. Now this bottom bash guard should be the last thing that gets you out of the way. By the looks on it, there's just 3 screws. One is at the center and then there's 2 either side a bit further forward, so it's just a case of cracking those off. Right, future Mal here. There was actually about 5 bolts to be fair, and they were all corroded, so it was a bit of a nightmare to get the socket onto. However, let's just skip to the end and then drop the oil. So wish me luck then. We've got our drain bolt there, we've got our oil filter there. Kind of hoping this works well. If not, it's going to be a long night. Oh gosh. Now obviously I've not been able to run the engine to get this warm, so I'm just going to leave it overnight to be fair. That is absolutely stinking. Well, it's coming out alright anyway. So while we're doing that, while that's doing its thing, we're going to try and get this out. And you're going to need a lot of this, that's for sure. How do people put this in so hard, man? It's a fucking oil filter. Awesome. So I'm just looking now, there's a little black seal in there. I'm going to pull it out and just make sure the filter that I've got, yeah, I'll try and get in the light. I'll just make sure that the filter I've got has got this seal, because if not, I don't want to be putting it on and it not making a seal, just spewing out the new oil as soon as I start filling it up. And the other thing is, if you do this, make sure that the seal has stuck to your filter, because if it's not there then it's stuck up in there, and again you don't want to put 2 filters on and one with a seal and one with the seal left in, otherwise again you'll have your oil spewing out. But hey, you get the drift with that. So that's all the oil coming out now. I'm gonna have to leave it longer than usual for it to completely drain out, because obviously the engine's not warm, it's quite cold, and hopefully while that's doing its thing I can then start looking at the heads, making sure the valves inside are all good to go and everything else, the valve clearances are right. Then start working on the rear transmission and looking at the wheels and everything else, just checking that over to make sure everything's good there.